Today we have a couple of really strong players, and we're going to make them go through a couple of drills to really isolate all the footwork and the difference in styles, because I think what everybody needs to understand is everyone has a different personality, and that personality really shines through in your ability to move. You know, we don't all dance the same way, we certainly don't all move the same way, but we can all apply the steps in a way that works for us. So the very first drill that we're going to do is I'm going to have all those players go through 3 forehands, and each time they're going to have to hit a different forehand. So you're going to see a walking step followed by a hopping step, followed by a pivot step. Okay, so that's a good way for them to really showcase within their own style and personality what it looks like for them. One thing that I must add is every drill that I do always has an element of precision, because to me, you have to work on both. You have to work on the precision of your footwork as well as the precision of the ball that you hit. Okay, so those guys are always trained to look at what they do with that ball. There is a walking step, then he's going to do a hopping step, beautiful. Then I'm going to stretch him out a bit, and there is a pivot step with a screaming forehand. That's beautiful, Alec. Okay, there is Jennifer, very strong female player as well. Beautiful hopping step, and then she's going to do a pivot. Excellent, very, very strong. Arnaud, same thing, very fluid, walking step, okay. All right, that's kind of a hopping, walking step at the same time, and then your pivot, okay. You know, you guys are never really going to get rid of the mistakes, but the footwork, beautiful. The footwork can look very, very fluid.
And it's worth noting these guys are always, they're moving forward when they hit, but then retreating back behind the baseline.
Absolutely.
So that
That's
they can
a
work
great
on moving
element to point out is, to me, you control the game when you control the inside of the court. Okay, so ideally you always want to be able to press your opponent, and you achieve that by taking control of the real estate. So what you'll see is those guys are always going to cross, correct, the
Back
baseline
up,
and then
move
retreat.
forward.
Cross the baseline and then retreat. Very good. One thing that needs to be pointed out also is, as you know, players start to get a lot more comfortable with themselves, you're going to see a lot of hybrids, okay? And those guys obviously are well-trained athletes, so when they go through the motion of, you know, working on their footwork, what happens is you see a lot of walking, hopping steps, hopping, walking steps, you know, stutter fitting into a walking, or even a neutral that's aggressive enough that it looks like a dynamic step. So they mix and blend a lot of the techniques to get comfortable with. But one way to do it is really isolate one step at a time until you get comfortable. And just like walking, the first time that you learn how to walk, you crawled first, then you walked. Okay? Sort of the same process that's happening here.
You get each one down sort of its own piece, and you isolate it, and then once you're at a certain level, you can start mixing it all together.
Absolutely.
And they become those hybrid forward patterns.